Hi everybody, today I wanted to share a little bit about what happened to me recently and what I've learned from it and what tips I can offer to you guys in case you guys are going through something similar. So I have a Kia and I parked it in my workplace during the daytime. That's a very important point that I'm just mentioning. During the daytime. And I only had liability coverage in my car and my vehicle since I thought, okay, it's paid. I shouldn't have to have by law, like, it's not mandatory to do like the whole shebang since my car is already paid off. Usually that's only required like full coverage for cars that are not paid off and you owe them to your agency. So that's what I was like, okay, cool, I have to pay less for insurance. But then this happened. I went to my car, I opened the door, and everything that was in my compartments was spread out in my seats. And then I tried to put the key inside my car, my ignition to turn it on, and all behold, my key doesn't go in. It turns out that they had left like a screwdriver inside the ignition, so I couldn't even turn on my vehicle to leave the car, to leave home. And then they had broken the where you put the key in the door to open the door as well. So apparently their intentions were to steal the vehicle. So that's the reason why they entered through the door, faking somehow that it was the key that they used to enter, because the alarm didn't went off when they entered the car. That way it was not suspicious when they try to steal it and they can get away with it. Unfortunately, they were not successful, but they did try. So this really scared me and thought, okay, if I don't have an alternative vehicle anymore for work, I sent the extra vehicle I had, I sent it away to another state. So I thought, okay, then I have to think wisely about this. If I had this already happen to me, an attempt of robbery or theft of my car, I should be smart about it. And the same day it happened, at night, I went ahead and processed and got comprehensive insurance, which protects me against theft or attempt of theft, which is in this case like the ignition and things like that, or any damage they did by vandalizing the vehicle. This was only about $15 more increase in my monthly payment for my insurance, and overall in 6 months it only increased about $100. So it's not a bad deal. It would cover me if they stole the car. They would reimburse me with the cost of my vehicle so I can get a new one. So I thought it was really worth it to invest. If you already have been somebody attempted to steal your car, it's a sign that maybe you should get more coverage. That means where you work, maybe it's not a safe place. And I learned it the hard way because of course it came out of my pocket to fix everything at this point because I didn't have insurance yet. But I'm looking forward to not having to do that next time now that I have insurance. If the damage is more than my deductible. So if you put the deductible, which is what you pay out of pocket when this happens to you, like if let's say that I need coverage for this, what happened today, and I had already purchased the insurance against theft. In that case, I would pay my deductible. If I pay $1,000 out of pocket, the monthly payment is really low. And if I pay $500, then it's less out of pocket immediate in the moment that you request the help. But overall, monthly, it's a little bit higher the rate. So it's give and take. Either way, you're gonna end up paying it, whether the long term or upfront. And so, when this happens and you already have insurance, you pay your deductible, and the beautiful thing about it is that they will fix everything inside that's been damaged. For example, anything inside that's been damaged. Many people, what they do is take advantage of that and report. When they report it, they also get to have everything fixed in their car that was previously damaged before the vandalism happened. I remember I had somebody I knew who already had the car inside almost fully destroyed. By the time they stole their car, they found the car and they found it in even worse condition, and then they redid everything in the car because it was insured, and they got a brand new car back. So interesting, right? But anyways, it was the first time I've ever felt, I've ever had this experience before. I've never had anybody try to steal my car. And the funny thing was that I was barely starting to get like attached to my vehicle, because all the cars I've used in my lifetime have always been under somebody else's name. I haven't paid insurance or anything. Let me backtrack. I started going to high school far from my home when I was 14, and I had to start taking the bus at age 14. And after that, I continued to use that type of transportation to go to a university. Also trolley, which is very popular where I grew up. So public transportation is a big thing where I grew up. And so that was the means I would always get around. And I always thought I'm never gonna get a vehicle because I'm too scared to drive. And guess what? I did get my license until I was 21. And I failed my driver test like 5 times. Obviously, it was just not my strong suit. And I always try to avoid that. And I always thought, why would I pay a car insurance, gas, and all those things when I can just use the bus for like $1.50 every day, or the monthly pass, which is, I don't know, back in the day was $30 or something. So in my brain, it just didn't make any sense to have to work so hard to pay for things that I can use for, almost no money at all. So for me, it was not like a natural transition. I was provided a vehicle and everything, the means already paid for it when I started driving, and I focused on being a mom and raising my kids. And now that I went back to the workforce, since they're already back in school, my kids, it's my first vehicle. This car that I'm driving, a Kia, this is the first car that I'm actually registering under my name. And it's my first time having a car. So for me, I was barely getting attached. Before they tried to steal it, it was the first time I had done a car wash on my vehicle since I had purchased it or got it as a gift. And I had just done the first oil change officially at a place where they changed the oil. I had just like vacuumed it, cleaned it inside, made it all shiny and nice. And then guess what? I was almost about to like name it as well, And I would just be telling my car like, I'm sorry it took so long to take care of you. I got your back now. And shebang, they tried to steal it the next day, and I couldn't even take it home. I had to leave it overnight, knowing that the garage door at my work was gonna be closed at 10 p.m. thankfully. So hoping that the car would still show up the next day when I got to work. Sorry about the sun shining. And so I was barely getting attached to my car, starting to take care of it, when I had to leave it overnight, just praying that it would be there the next day, which was like very, very nerve-wracking. So when I got there the next day, I was crossing fingers that I would find it, and thankfully I did find it. And thankfully I did have insurance for towing, and so I asked them to tow my vehicle to a shop where they fixed the ignition. And I did have a friend through my husband's side that helped me lower the rates on the hand labor for fixing it, and then they got the parts from the dealership, and so it was under $1,000. But I would have rather had the insurance already and paid $1,000 for them to fix everything else as well that was not working inside the vehicle, and not leave anything missing. Like right now, there's parts that I didn't get in time to fix it all. I only got the basics done just so I can run the car and have it secure. But there's other things like covers of things that, just for the aesthetics of it, haven't been completed, that if I had paid this deductible, they would have taken care of everything. So I recommend you go that route instead of waiting for something to happen to you. Turns out I didn't know Kias are very easy to steal. I had no idea. I just knew that they use up a lot of oil. And in my case, it's true. I have to put oil like every week or every 2 weeks or something. There must be like something wrong with Kias in that regard. But anywho, so the person in the shop that fixed my car told me, yes, we asked him, is it recommended that we get like, I think it's like a wheel boot or something like that to put on your wheels so that it gets locked and nobody tries to steal your car, because it's harder to take that boot off. You know, they'll just step away essentially if they see that. And they did tell me, the mechanic, that was a good strategy, because it will make people who want to steal your car walk away from it and not even try if they see